Mic check. 2-1-2. We in the building. We all the way here. Playoffs. Got Sixers and Nets. 2:30. Can't wait. See. Guess what? Yeah, there's no games. There's no games to be played. Everybody gets the same check in the playoffs.
I'm actually a little afraid as a Sixers fan.
Well, you know,
Give me a mic check up.
you're can't be walking
Test.
into the playoffs.
1 2 1 2 test.
Fellas. Good day, good afternoon.
What's happening?
Yo,
Beautiful day.
Yeah, beautiful day. Back for another session.
Hey, it's not a day that you're supposed to be inside. Put it that way.
No
It's
doubt.
beautiful.
Everybody, we about to go in here and kick out this thing. We're gonna lead you right into the Sixers tip-off. We're gonna talk some basketball. Talking basketball. In the words of Curtis Blow. How's everybody doing?
No, we're beautiful, man.
Good. So we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna start off with wrapping up the college NCAA. Virginia did it. The ultimate redemption story. The Cavaliers came back last year. They were the first number one seed ever to lose to a 16 seed. Very humiliating. They got ran out the gym too. Wasn't a buzzer beater. Wasn't a fluke. They got blown out the building. So those guys came back this year on a mission, determined, won the ACC regular season, got into the tournament, and were down early in that first 16 game by 14 points, and pulled themselves together and got the chip at the end. We'll talk about some of the officiating there. There was a little bit of controversy with that. But what do you guys rank this Virginia turnaround in the annals of sports story? It looks like an ESPN 30 for 30 for me.
Yeah, I think it's pretty high just because of the significance of, we went years and years and years, and we always wondered when a 16 seed would upset a number one, and we finally got it. And then a year later, that team comes back and redeems itself. Like, they went through the whole year of, like, humiliation. I'm sure they heard chants in rival arenas and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so to come back and, answer the bell somewhat to basically redeem themselves. Like, this is literally the redeem team. Like we called the 08 Olympic team, right?
Yeah.
That was a good feat. I was happy to see that they pulled that off.
Yeah, sports, right? If you've been a part of sports, I know for me, sports is life. Now people always say, it's only a game. No, it's not only a game. You know why? Because
the emotions are real.
It takes you through. Exactly. It takes you through these emotions. Now, you were a number one seed last year, correct?
Correct.
All right, and a number 16, the lowest seed, knocked you out.
First time
ever. As a
ever.
sports competitor, how low can you get?
Yeah,
right?
That's it.
Only to deal with that, right? To persevere through it, come back, fight through next year mentally, right? And be down, because remember the first playoff game? They were down, 10, 12?
Yeah, but I think 14.
14? So let's fight, right? We don't want to feel that feeling again.
Yeah.
Because we know what it feels like. So we're going to fight out of this, and we're going to win the whole thing. Now, everybody's not going to the pros on these college teams. How do you think this particular moment last year and this year helped propel these type of kids for life? Forget about the game, for life.
Yeah.
You're going to try to tell me there's not a never give up mentality now?
Yeah, on a national
if you
stage,
never had it, you got it now.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Anything, and that, like you said, for life.
Sports is life,
I
man.
think that's the biggest part of it, is that it let them know that in life, no matter how certain something seems,
the next day is different.
It can be going, right? So they were the 16, no one seed ever lost to a 16 seed. So pretty much if there was ever a bet that you would say is cash money, put it in the bank, that would be it.
Yeah, everybody.
That would be it. And then here they suffered that, and then so that right, you said that life lesson is nothing is certain. Like, anything can happen. You can't take anything for granted.
Nah.
You need to take advantage of every opportunity and every moment, and then for them to actually have most of the guys. I'm not sure if every player was back, but for them to have the opportunity to redeem themselves, and then think about it too. It actually started before the tournament though, because to be a number one seed again, right?
Yeah.
That means you had to come back into the season with a mindset that you were going to.
I know what happened to me.
Right, that this is behind us. We moved on, but we didn't forget about it, and because they could have easily came into the tournament, being in the ACC, and finish with a 21-9 record, been a 6 seed, and but to do it again, to be the 1 seed again
and win
after
the
that
ACC.
happened, and that's a testament to that program, that coaching staff, and those kids. And
I think Tony Bennett, the coach Bennett said afterwards, look, we got to own it. Like, we can't run from it. We lost. We humiliated.
Right.
We're the first one to lose to a 16 and got smoked. So at that time, they're like, yo, we got to do it.
And guess what is quickly to be forgotten? When you lost to that 16th seed.
Oh yeah,
because you not more than made up for it. You know what I mean?
The jokes went away now.
Yeah,
the jokes went away.
So okay, laugh now.
So and it can literally be for those guys. It can be they can laugh at it now.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to a 16 seed. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we got that ring. But they can laugh at it now and then. That's another lesson in life. You need to be able to laugh at yourself and
come back.
Your flaws or your whatever your weaknesses are, and make them into strengths and
that's the concept of sports. That's what we talk sports talk for the culture. I mean, that's the culture
ultimate
of
brotherhood,
you learn,
or sisterhood, or however you want to put it.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of talk about the call. The foul, not foul, end of the game against Auburn, shot from the corner. The rules say it's a foul. I mean, if you look at it, you got to give the person a place to come down. Even though they called the foul, Virginia was down by 2. The kid still went to the free throw line and hit all 3 free throws. He still had to make the free throws.
Right.
What do you guys think about the end of the game call? Some talk about that.
I mean, in this day and age of replay and the scrutiny of missed calls and incorrect calls and things like that, I think as a referee, as an official, you have to make the call.
Yeah.
You can't stand there in the position that this guy's in looking at that play and say, if this was the first half, I would have made that call, but I'm not making that call. You got to make the call. You got to make the call because you're doing a disservice to the offensive player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, well, defensive guy, you can do what you want, and the offensive guy has to make the shot, and, but so I think you have to make that call, man, because that play will get replayed over and over and over and over again. And the one thing you can't say, when you heard the argument after the game, everybody said it's a foul.
Yeah. It's a foul.
So some people had the opinion you can't make that call, but it's a foul.
Yeah.
Which means that guy didn't do anything wrong because it's a foul.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't. This isn't the 1980s NBA where it's like, hey, you swallow the whistle, you let the kid, you let the kids play and you foul. Those days are gone. Once we started replaying and they started doing like the NBA does, they have their 2-minute end of game review and they give that you got to make the call.
And
you got to make the call.
It was a foul. I think the competitive nature in all of us, we don't want to see those calls made at the end of the game, but at the end of the day, it was a foul. You cannot touch the shooter. You can't touch him whether your hands were up.
And you gotta let them come down.
Yeah, you have to let him, whether it's weak, whether it's soft, whether you cannot touch the shooter. He clearly knocked the shooter off his.
Yeah, he didn't have a clear place to come
down.
And
if that guy say the score is tied and that guy misses that shot, but he comes down on his foot and he turns his ankle and he can't play overtime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kawhi Leonard.
Then what?
Yeah.
You got to make that call. You have to be smarter as a defender to not commit that foul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you see this picture right here that we had on our screen, you're approaching him on his side, like, what happened to the front, with the hand up,
right?
So
you're clearly underneath him,
right?
Like you're clearly,
and that's frozen, and you're almost touching him. So I can imagine, that we all seen the replay.
Yeah,
you touched him and you bounced, you hit him, and sad for in sports, man. Listen, somebody got to lose.
Yeah.
Somebody might mess up.
Yeah.
I don't feel good for Virginia because, I do feel good for Virginia, but, you feel bad for something like that.
Auburn.
Yeah.
It's a tight call. But a lot of people talked about the play before the play, as they say.
The double dribble.
Double dribble. Which when I watched it, I was like, did he discontinue? Like, we used to call that discontinuation.
Yes,
Be like, you dis. Like,
yeah.
Like, you, because I thought somebody from Auburn had hit the ball. Like, I was in real time. I didn't know. I thought, maybe the guy hit it or touched it or whatever. But when the ball hit off his foot and rolled, if he would have curly kneeled it and just kept the dribble alive with one hand, and he would have been good. But once he picked it up with two hands and dribble again, it was a missed call. I mean, there's missed calls back and forth.
Yes.
On both sides.
They are going to happen in the game, believe it or not. You know? If you want to break down tape, you're going to be like, oh, that was a foul. Ooh, no, I should have called this. It's going to happen. But I think it's you got the little tiny little nitpicks that we can get past those. It's the calls that the whole nation will see, and we'll be like, "Oh man, you gotta call that one," like because it's the obvious,
Right. So I mean, it's no different than the pass interference at the end of the game. With the Saints. They let the players decide the game, but everybody was up in arms. That was a foul.
And now we got a rule change that may make the NFL go forever.
So you can't have it both ways and say, "Hey, let the players decide." Then the players decide. The ref don't make a call, even though it's an obvious call. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't say, "Let the players decide." Don't call obvious fouls. You know what I mean? But get upset when they let the players decide and don't call obvious fouls. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just think I'm of the belief you make the call. I'm not a referee guy. I'm just not a referee guy. But I come from the Rasheed Wallace class of dealing with officials. But
don't call fouls for me.
Yeah, just let us play and if that's the way it is going to be, then that's the way it's going to be.
But I understand. On both sides, but don't change it up in the fourth quarter. If you want consistency, you don't want all you want from officiating is consistency. Let's set a standard. What's going to be a foul? What's going to be let go? And let's keep that consistent all the way through for both teams. You don't want to get in the fourth quarter when all of a sudden somebody putting you in figure 4 leg lock. Like, that was a foul, but now we letting it go. You guys have to have consistency on both sides for you to make it play. But one of the interesting things about this Virginia team in this age of scoring, their opponents, they kept down in points per game. If we take a look at the screen here, not since 56.1 points a game and won the national title. That's Virginia, and those two San Francisco Dons teams.
Bill Russell.
Yeah, Bill Russell. They had a guy named Bill Russell who was kind of like dominant.
Who's that?
Kind of dominant in the middle. But one of the things when they were talking about, and I saw they were talking about good defense, bad offense. They were talking about the Virginia players, some of them not taking open shots. Barkley, Kellogg, and everything like that. But I thought everybody knows their role. Even though this shot's open, but we want to set the tempo of the game where every time we come down here, we done ran 25 seconds off the clock.
Right.
Like even though I'm open, I thought the Virginia strategy was even if I'm open and I take this shot, we're upping the tempo of the game. I'm shooting with 10, 11. That's not what we want to do.
Right.
Hey, listen.
When people play us, it's like, man, you feel like this feels funny. Like I'm not used to it. Up and down. You're really down by more points than you think.
Right.
It makes the other team uncomfortable.
Yes. Right. Yes,
yeah.
Yes,
they're uncomfortable. Man, it's 19.
Well, it's simple after a while. It's like, okay, I mean, how many games did they win? 30?
Yeah.
All right. And the style that you've been playing, it's been working.
Yeah.
So why would you go away from whatever is working?
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't make sense. Point guard, he was open. He should take that shot. But he's not the shooter on the team.
Right. That's the way you've been playing. That you were successful. So why are you gonna go away from it?
Even if you think about what they do, it's ball control, right? So you're making that team play defense every possession, 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, it wears you down.
Yeah. Physically and mentally.
Yeah, it wears you down. And it's no different than a team that's running the ball or in football or possessing the ball with short passes and going on 10 or 12 play drives every time they get the ball. Even if they don't score, they did a 7-play drive and punt it.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus we going to line up quick tempo, hurry up offense, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And I think, there's a method that's not, it's just, hey, we stink and this guy can't shoot and that guy can't. There's a method. That's the formula that they use, and it's successful in game after game in all sports. Yeah. It's no different than a batter, a team saying, hey, let's go deep in the count on this guy.
Yeah, make him throw pitches.
Yeah, make him throw pitches. We this guy's dominant, but if he's at 100 pitches in the 6th inning, he's gonna have to come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
he doesn't have. Once he gets over 100 pitches, his stuff changes drastically.
It's ball control, and it works in every sport.
Yeah,
it works in every sport.
And that's what I thought when I was watching the commentary. I said, but that's not their game.
Right,
like our game has been like, you got to come down and defend. We're not going to give you any easy trips defensively.
Right.
You're going to have to work on defensive trips every time down the court, and you're going to have to have your heads up.
Yeah, if you probably look at their record into how many points they scored.
Yeah.
And it got up above 50 and 60 and 70. They probably lost every game. So they stuck to the script, and guess what the script got them?
Yeah. National title. And it's not like they couldn't score, man. They scored when they needed to score.
Right.
But definitely they wanted to make teams work on the defensive end like they haven't worked before. And when you get into that, and it kind of gives a feel for the game, like, man, like every trip down the court, we haven't scored. It's a low-scoring affair.
Yeah.
What's going on? You start pressing. And
it's
you
demoralizing.
Yeah, and that's definitely.
Now these guys go 25 seconds into the shot clock, shoot the ball, get an offensive rebound,
and another
reset the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's demoralizing. You know what I mean? As the defensive team, you're like,
yeah, it's like having somebody in third and 14 and they convert.
Right,
and
right,
like,
absolutely.
Damn, yeah, like
and then
they pounding the ball too, and they pounding it like they playing hardcore football. You done got them, back, and they curtain out. Here come 2 more hard-nosed possessions, on offense. Yeah, and that wears you down psychologically and physically. And I think just big ups to Virginia. They went from all-time loss to all-time turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I definitely think it'll be something definitely.
They always had a great program, respectable program in the ACC.
I mean, definitely. Going back to the days of Ralph Sampson.
Oh yeah.
Big Ralph. I think he was in the crowd too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Ralph Sampson going
Big
back
Ralph.
to those days. So definitely dominant. One thing I want to jump in. It's that time NBA. It's playoff time. The Sixers jump off in about a half an hour. We're gonna lead you right into
no excuses.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the same check in the playoff.
Embiid's a game time decision. We have to see which the pain threshold going to be. Definitely, but that's like the big on the court story right now is Embiid. We got the bracket there. We'll take a look at it. But what do you think, Joel Embiid? They kind of rested him. There's been some. It seems like a little turmoil in the Sixers organization with the general manager saying it. He's hurt. He may not play. The coach was like a little testy about him coming out. Embiid's knees. They've been setting him down, low balance. Embiid's injury history. What do you think moving forward? Do you think I kind of lean towards he's going to give us some minutes? I shouldn't say us, but I'm a Sixers fan. But I think, but he's going to give the Sixers some minutes tonight. Do you think, or what do you do? Do you sit him down because you feel you should beat the Nets without him, and just need him to rest up to get by this first round and get ready for Toronto? As a coach, what's your decision? If he can play, you let him go, or you decide on caution because you need him down the road?
If he's not healthy, I'm sitting him down.
Yeah.
Because even if he's not healthy, we playing. He gets worse. He plays, a bit in game 1. Now we losing for game 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or he plays this series banged up, hurt. We get to the next round where we're definitely going to need him.
Yeah.
We know we're not getting out of the next round without him. We may have a chance without him in this round, but the next round we don't. So I don't think if he's not healthy, I'm not playing.
Well, for me, it's if he doesn't play, they don't win. And that's going in. Now, I could be wrong, but let's be real on how great of a player he is for the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
He's that much of a difference maker, right? He's the best center in the league. If he's not on the floor, minus his 20 plus, who's going to make that up, right? They don't have that, that type of player to be able to, let's survive tonight.
Yeah.
Unless somebody gets lucky.
Yeah.
They don't have a 35-point scorer on that side unless somebody has a great night where they just don't miss. So they don't have that. So if, everybody's hurt during this time of the year, you got different injuries, though. You got banged up injuries, or you got injuries where, you might be a little bit sore than others, but you got some stuff that your body might tell you, wait a second, I probably don't need to be playing on this. And that's the difference. You know, you got your shoulder things, you got your fingers, you got your little bit of ankle. Everybody's hurt. Nobody's like 100%. But him, if you got the knees, that, you know, that's 7 foot, 7'2", or whatever you want to call it, 2 plus, whatever. Let's see how it's going to go, because we don't want it getting worse. Yeah. Because we in the trenches now. Yeah. You know, we in the trenches. So it depends on him, and it depends on trainers. It depends on a whole lot of people. I don't need you running around making things worse than what they are. You know.
Yeah, it's a bit worrisome. I mean, he's the franchise.
No, he's the player. I mean, they only go as far as Embiid's going to take him.
He's a franchise, and you know, with him healthy, every night on the court, you got a shot to win the game, whoever you're playing against. And you know, without him, you know, it's a whole different makeup of a team. You know, now it's
I mean, he's the Sixers' Tim Duncan. I mean, he's a big man of this generation.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the premier big man of this generation. As they said, coming up. With the big men in, and it's more of a game facing the basket, and a lot of even big guys moved away from the basket, shooting everything, and he goes out there and shoots threes, sometimes too many for people. But, I mean, he's definitely the franchise player, and he's the cornerstone of the team and what they're going to do in the future. It's a person they waited for. He had injuries and waited for him to heal and develop. So moving forward, and you got to be precautious because it's bigger than this playoff game right now, game 1 against the Nets.
Absolutely.
You got to think about the total future for the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, the 76ers is part of the process, part of moving forward and winning. But there's a lot of expectations and a lot of on this team, which is good. I mean, the coach, Brett Brown, for the first years, we're losing. He took it on the chin like we're trying to lose. All right, I can do that. Now, back-to-back 50-win seasons, and he's straight in the limelight. Like, what are you going to do with this team? Now, we got the talent. We got one of the best starting fives. The bench isn't what it's supposed to be. But there's a lot of talk about, and for me, and where I see their deficit is for the Sixers is defensively. I think the way they defend the pick and roll has not gotten any better. And how do they move forward? You know, when you're talking about that. I mean, that's one of the key things. And it's going to be interesting. A lot of pressure on Brett Brown. How much winning does the Sixers need to do in this postseason for Brett Brown to come back?
Man, I think they need to at least get to round 2, and you know it needs to be more than 4-1. Yeah, it needs to be 6 or 7 games. It needs to be competitive. You know, and. That's just my belief. I mean, nobody. And then again, but you say if Embiid doesn't play, then you know,
it changes. You know, changes the security.
A lot of people were saying no excuses, Embiid or not, get through this first round.
Nah, you can't. You can't. Look, let's put it out there now. Like, look at their roster, right?
Yeah.
Are you expecting them to get to the finals? Are you expecting with Toronto and Milwaukee and Boston? Are you really? Would you bet on them getting to the finals?
I'm not expecting it, but I feel like with Embiid, it could happen.
Mm-hmm. So what's the percentages that you think that it can happen?
Well,
are they low or are they high? Yeah, with Embiid.
With Embiid, I would probably put it at maybe 35.
All right,
like
so we on the low side. So that's probably, now you're a realistic kind of guy. Like, that's a realistic number. So I think to try to fire Brett Brown when we basically at 35%, we're saying, you know what, you probably can't beat Boston, you probably can't beat Toronto. That's where those numbers come from.
Yeah.
Now it's a way that you lose if you go out.
Right.
Now if it's you in the second series and it's 4-3. I mean, it's 3-3, and the last minute of the game, something happened. You probably don't fire the coach, you know, because you right there, and it could have went either way, you know.
Agreed.
But if you, like you said, if we want to do some 4-1, and it looks like we was always playing catch up from game 1 all the way into the 5th game, then it's probably you got to start, doing some type of reevaluating.
And I think
coaching spots.
I think his lease was shortened because, like you say, we look at it and Embiid's out and we're saying, they shouldn't do this or they may do that. But we all remember Boston being without their top 2 players and going to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, realistic person may say, hey, these are the expectations and this is what I expect from this team. But then it's like, yeah, but, this team just went on this run without their two best players with a bunch of rookies, leading the way. And so why can't we? Why can't we go get a guy that can put us in that same position that when Embiid's not on the floor, we can still game plan and win a ball game?
And that's going to be the take on it. I mean, that's definitely what it's going to be moving forward and seeing exactly how he coaches in these playoffs. And I think that's what, the ownership has expectations. They said it. We expect them to go deep in the playoffs. So that's what their
coaches coach, players play.
Yeah, and the great thing about sports is it's a result-based league. Yeah. It's not objective. Did we kind of we're subjective? Did we kind of do good or did we do good? What's your expression? No. How many points you had? Did the team have more points than you? Okay, y'all done lost. You lost the series. Okay, we can go from there, and you can move on. That's one of the best things because it's results based. And the results are there every day that you play. You wins or losses. So I think Brett Brown is squarely on the hot seat for moving forward. Sometimes you need somebody else to come in. Defensively, my thing is this team defensively just has not been able to stop the pick and roll.
Yeah, it's been bad.
And I know Tobias Harris, he had a good start. He seemed to be quiet now.
Yeah, he seemed to tail off a little bit.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta find and in fairness, these guys have only played 10 games together. As that your initial starting five.
Absolutely. Chemistry is important.
Chemistry is important. And you got to feel your way. When you're the best player on a not as great team, and then you come around other players, you got to try to feel your mark or feel your way in. And it should be, they should have enough starting five talent, which is going to have to play 38 to 39 minutes. They don't have a bench really, so your starting five is going to have to log minutes in these playoffs, like Golden State did when they beat LeBron without Kyrie and Kevin Love in the finals. So that was the starters that played so many minutes. That's what the Sixers are going to have to do. So it'll be interesting. We'll jump off in about 26 minutes.
Everybody gets the same check in the playoffs.
And we're going to take you right into to tip off 10-9-8-7 Sixers. But I want to talk about James Harden. 37 points a game.
Very impressive.
35 points a game, 7 assists. First person in NBA history to do that. Great player, tremendous player, scores. Is there pressure on him for him to step up and say, hey, Harden, your league MVP, it's an argument he could be MVP back-to-back again this year, and he win MVP, but what is Houston going to do? What does your stats mean in the overall chase of a championship? And I think that's the measure with Harden. How do you evaluate Harden? The numbers speak for themselves, but do the numbers point you in the direction of championship because you feel Houston – bar injury last year might have got there. Do you think the pressure's on him?
Well, here's the thing about him, right? He is a bucket filler, right? Can we deny that?
No.
He will put it in the bucket, and realistically, I don't think nobody wants any. At the top of the key, with him dribbling that ball, I don't think anybody wants anything. Now, like we said, he is a bucket filler. Yeah. So, does that mean just because you are a bucket filler that you are a winner, right? Does that mean that? It doesn't mean that. There's a lot of guys with numbers.
Yeah.
Do you know how to win? So, you're 35, extremely impressive. That means nobody can stop you from doing what you do.
Yeah.
So, now you guys can attest to this. When you average 35 points in the playoffs, we get out the first round, right? We're not even looking for nobody to stop you.
Yeah.
Now, do we do the same thing in the second round? Do we say, all right, he's going to get past the second round? Because I know guys that knew how to play, that averaged 30-something. I can probably look forward to them being in the finals. There's no they're going to get knocked off in the first or second.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what we got to find out about him. Okay, you can score. We seen you go for 60. We seen you go for 50. Right. You average 35. At the end of the day, where are you taking that 35 plus to? Because it looks to me like your supporting cast is there, right?
I mean, we talked about them being pulled hamstring away, maybe going to the finals.
Okay,
right?
so we can't forget we said that.
Yeah.
So now it's there. So since it's there and you got this 35, should we expect for you to be in these finals?
I mean, it's now or never for Houston. I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're only getting older.
They get
got a
excuse
better
for last
team.
year, and I don't like giving excuse to anybody. They had Golden State on the ropes when Paul went there. They were on the ropes.
Yeah.
And we know that you can't do it by yourself. That's like a known thing. You're not going to the finals by yourself.
Yeah.
So Paul went down, and it did change some things. But Paul looks like he's healthy to me. You got the MVP. The momentum is where it needs to be for him. Yeah. So, it's playoff time. Roll it out. We're going to see what we're going to get.
Yeah, I'm interested to see him in the playoffs because, like you said, nobody can stop him. And I think it's just a matter of, is he going to get to the line like he does?
Yeah.
And like you said, I firmly believe that they're in the final. They probably win the championship last year.
They were in a good spot.
If Chris Paul doesn't
They
get hurt.
were in a good spot.
So does that translate to this year?
Yeah. It's a different
where,
year. Yeah. Chris Paul was hurt earlier in the season. They rested him. Veterans said, "Look, sit down."
Right.
Because it's not about being in first place. This is about
not with them.
Right.
Yeah,
surviving.
yeah,
You want to survive.
You want to be healthy and make sure your legs, these 30+ legs are ready for the run in the postseason.
And I'm interested too because even if you look at Houston, but you look at D'Antoni, he's always had a guy that put up
Crazy numbers.
outstanding numbers, right?
Right.
But their team,
So
for whatever
offensive
reason,
oriented,
right?
they
just couldn't.
They
get,
free.
And we know, we remember the one year where Ori hip checks Steve Nash into the table, and Amari gets suspended. And they might have won the championship that year.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what these guys, because it's not just James Harden. This is Mike D'Antoni too, where,
without a doubt.
And CP3 as well, because he hasn't really accomplished anything winning wise in his career. So I'm interested to see those guys when this playoffs start.
Toss the ball up.
Yeah, and let's go. That's what you do it. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook. Been in the headlines, a lot of things mercurial. Russ goes up and down, temperament. But it's his third straight year averaging a triple-double. Like, along those lines or close to it.
It's remarkable.
Yeah, which is unbelievable in this. And when you look at, as talk to production for winning, when he has those triple doubles, I think his team wins 65 to 70% of his games.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So not only is he producing triple doubles, and we look at them and we're trying to see if they're empty or not, but when he has a triple double, the best player on the team, the winning percentage of that team is in the high 60 to 70%. Do you think that we don't give Russell enough credit for what he deserves, what he's been able to do in the NBA? He was on that Oakley. He's the last remnants of him and Harden and KD, Kevin Durant on that OKC team, which was broken up. Interesting. What's your feeling about Russell Westbrook?
So, triple doubles. Let's start there, right? I've been around a lot of basketball. I've been around some college athletes. I've been around some professional athletes. Guess what they did not do?
Yep.
They didn't average a triple-double. Now, let's check how important and how difficult they are, because a triple-double is points,
rebounds,
and assists. So, not only can you play, like, you got to have this energy, which you got to be in some type of shape.
82-game season.
Because you everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and you doing everything.
Yeah.
So, anybody else average a triple-double in the league for 300 plus players?
No.
But one guy, right?
Yeah. One guy.
You better get that man his props.
So, I agree.
All the way, 3 straight years?
Yeah.
I agree.
You better give him his gold jacket
and
stop playing and appreciate what's happening right now. That's what I'm saying.
People can talk about, the rule changes and it's open now, and if it was then he wouldn't do this and all this other stuff, right? But it's the biggest thing that stands out to me. I hear all of that, right?
Yeah.
Yet he's the only one that's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that's doing it. You know what I mean? You see guys getting triple doubles here, there, whatever. He's the only guy doing it, and he done it for the last 3 years. It's kind of like, I like to reference like other sports. So it's kind of like Miguel Cabrera hitting for the Triple Crown a few years ago.
Yeah.
The bats are this, and the parks are small, and the balls are, and this, that, and the third. However,
Why you the only one doing it?
nobody's done it for
Exactly.
100 years before, or however many years before he did it, and nobody's done it since. And the same thing with Russell Westbrook, with all the rule changes and all this and that, and all the great players, and year after year, and nobody done it.
Right.
Nobody has done it.
So now here's another thing, right? There are players, and I don't care what sport is in. We could talk baseball, we could talk basketball, we can talk football. When it's contract negotiation time, some people it's hard for them to negotiate. I bet you it wasn't hard for him to negotiate his money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you gotta appreciate how nobody plays harder than him. Nobody plays harder for the last few years, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm the owner, I'm not trying to know it's okay, because you gotta appreciate
he's
this
going to
man's
bring
drive.
it every night.
He's going to do
the
that.
money
He's
that you
trying
pay
to win every game with the energy.
He's going to earn it.
So I'm paying him, because I know he's going to bring it.
You may not like. I know when KD was there, a lot of people didn't like some of the decisions he made.
He's too much on the ball. Not
those
pass
things
first.
like
He was
that.
learning. He was learning.
Yeah.
But you could never. Excuse me. You could never fault his effort.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Listen, they can talk what you want. I've never seen him give up. I've seen a lot of guys give up.
Yeah.
I never seen him give up. Never.
And you can never when you can't fault a guy's effort.
Yeah.
I'm going to battle with that guy every time.
You remember the game they had when they lost to Cleveland with LeBron? The game he put up like 40 that game 5 or game 6 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that was Russell Westbrook. He went off in that game. Russell put in work and just always been gone. I know he's had the things with fans and stuff like that, but a lot of people try to downgrade his triple doubles saying it's meaningless. But when you do that and the result is when you do that, your team wins 65 to 70% of the time, then you're really having an impact on the game.
And even to say it's meaningless, right? To me, I feel like a lot of Ben Simmons triple doubles are meaningless.
Yeah.
Because they aren't as impactful as I think they should be.
Yeah.
Now, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just me. When I watch this guy smaller than Ben Simmons, right? And I see him, break guys down, get to the basket, and then pass it off to, a lesser player, because he's not, all of his assists aren't coming on Paul George, coming off a ball screen and catching and shooting.
Right.
I mean, Ben Simmons gets 4 assists a game just hitting J.J. Redick as he comes off a screen for an open jumper. That's not like, I can get that assist.
Yeah.
I mean, we say stuff like
don't
that
get
all
the
the time.
assist that I can get, right?
Yeah, I can get that assist. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Ben Simmons as a passer. He's a very skilled player, very skilled passer. But, I mean, to do this on a nightly basis, and the one difference I see is the nights that Ben Simmons doesn't get a triple-double are the nights typically J.J. Redick had a bad shooting night. And then he wasn't able to, now, okay, J.J. Redick's struggling. Let me create something for, let me drive to the basket and drop one off to Amir Johnson for the dunk, which is what Westbrook does, right? So he's not all of his assists don't go to Paul George, coming off of a screen, and he has to get to do what he does and get other guys open shots, which they finish. You know what I mean? So that's where it's like, without this guy on this team, what are they? They're in the lottery.
Oh, it's easy.
They're in the lottery.
Easy. We got some shout-outs, man.
Oh, shout them
We got
out.
a long list of shout-outs, too. We got Cuz Dave Harper, Mr.
Dave
Bobby
Harper.
Huntley,
What's up, Dave? What's up, Bob?
Julia Gifford,
Julia.
Mr. Critter Gable,
Thanks for tuning in.
Mr. Roger Laseth, Eugene Wesley,
Okay,
Mr. Morgan, Tahira Jefferson, Mr. Anthony Jenkins, Mike Bradshaw, Andre Hayes, what's up, brother?
What's up, Andre?
Rob Farmer, what's up? And Miss Maria Jennings.
Miss
How are
Maria,
you? Percy
cousin
White.
Maria.
What's up, Percy White? I'm going to see you in a minute, brother, down there in sunny Florida. Quick question. Miss Maria Jennings, cuz, ask us, where could we find some Crown Royal Peach? Now, why would you ask us that? What made you think you want to ask us if you can get some Crown Royal Peach?
You may see the top of the bar there.
The top of the bar?
Yeah, the top
Okay.
of,
Sent the signal off, huh?
The adult libations, as we say. I'm pretty sure a local store near you, Total Wine, place like that, will have it. I heard that's all the row right now, that Crown Royal Peach. I heard it's pretty good. I'm not too much on the sugary stuff. I'm a bourbon man myself, but I heard it pulls down, it goes down smooth. And speaking of that, we're gonna move from smooth to rough. Magic Johnson, another big non-court story. Non-court story. Magic Johnson, the LA Lakers. Moment of peace, the LA Lakers are in the postseason. Rest in peace. The Lakers stepped down. Magic stepped down from director or president of basketball operations of the Los Angeles Lakers, where he's a long time. Everybody knows he's a great player and everything like that. Dr. Buss drafted him. His daughter Janie Buss owns the team now. Magic and this LeBron combination, which a lot of people had high hopes for, because most people, like I said, LeBron played more like Magic than he did Jordan. He was more of a Magic type of player, moving in, and he understands, pass and giving the ball, that they would be able to forge a union and build a team and build a competitive winner. That didn't happen this year. They in the lottery, they didn't make the playoffs. I mean, LeBron missed 18 games. Lorenzo missed. The AD Anthony Davis trade rumors and things along those lines, the team chemistry. What do you think, or the reason? Was it pressure? And also, Luke Walton is gone. They mutually decided to move away as the head coach.
They?
Yeah. Him and Luke, they moved on too. What do you think, the big off court story? Why Magic said, "Look, let me walk away from this"? Why do you think Magic said, "Look, I'm gonna take a walk from this"?
I think it was probably a little more difficult than Magic actually thought it would be.
Yeah.
I think he might have thought, I'm Magic. I'm gonna get, everybody's gonna want to come play here, and I'll be able to do what I want to do, and they love me, and I believe that's one thing, and another thing. He said he likes to be the ambassador to the league, not just the Lakers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is he gonna work with Ben Simmons now?
So he said he wants to.
Yeah.
Right? He wants to work with Ben Simmons. He wants to. So I mean, I can see Magic. He's always been a NBA guy. I'm a Laker, but I'm an NBA guy. You know what I mean? But this was just strange to me. I know, especially he stepped down before he even informed his good friend, Jane Buss. You know what I mean? And she didn't hold it against him. I guess they close enough, so they talk after the fact. But I just think, man, it might have been a little more difficult than he thought it was going to be. And I don't think Magic, Magic loves to be loved, and I don't think he liked getting scrutinized not in his own town of L.A. where he's the king,
right?
And I think all of that played a part in him, and just at the same time too, I'd imagine he's a billionaire or close to it. You know what I mean? And he likes to do whatever he wants to do when he wants to do it. So it's like I can't tweet about Russell Westbrook averaging the triple-double. That's against the rules.
Right.
I never had to not do that before. So
well, you already spoke about how successful he is, on the money side of things, but it's a chain of command, right?
Yeah.
For these organizations, you got the owner, then under we have the president, then you got the GM. Well, Magic was the president, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the only person that you cannot fire is the owner. Everybody else, if you don't like what's going on, they're on the chopping block.
Yeah.
So me, I don't personally know Magic, but I'm thinking, okay, Magic's like, listen, we got LeBron.
Yeah.
What's LeBron got a good solid 3 years, right? We can give him.
Yeah.
So we got to do this now. So if we feel like we need a coach, I'm going to get a coach now.
Yeah.
If we feel like we need these players this summer, I'm going to get these players now, which means somebody got to go. And I think Jeannie was just probably a little bit more loyal than that. Was probably like, okay, I think that we don't need to do things like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And put a leash on the things Magic wanted to do. Well, like we said, Magic is worth some plus $600 million.
Yeah.
They said that he likes to go on 30-day excursions across the country. I mean, across the world. When you have this position, it requires
a grind.
You to grind.
Yeah.
And is he grinding? I'm quite sure he's on some sort of grind, because you can't get to where you are without doing a little bit of grinding, right?
Right.
And you can't do the LA Laker grind.
Yeah.
And like we said, Magic has been Magic.
Yeah.
Like what, he pops up, he smiles, people gravitate to him. I don't have to be in the office.
Yeah.
Whatever I touch is going to happen. It's going to go.
And
this particular job is
yeah.
not going to be like that.
Even without having a job, he's still looked at as the president of the Lakers.
Yeah, because you don't. The one thing about him is he doesn't need the money. Let's be
Right.
serious about that. You don't need the Laker money because it was too easy for you to walk away, right? So that's what it's not about, But it's a job description that comes with that president of basketball operations. That, like he said, he wants to, I want to tweet.
Yeah.
I want to do Instagram. I want to do this, and then people are coming to me like, whoa, you can't do this. When has anybody ever told Magic he can't do something?
And maybe something he's not good at. You know what I mean?
He actually said that when he took the job. If I'm not good, I'll step down.
Yeah.
And like I think, man, he might have thought, I'm doing the same thing I was doing before I was the president. But now there's all these things I can't do.
Yeah.
Like when something happened with the Lakers, they would talk to maybe Jeannie Buss or her brother when he was running the team, and they would talk to the coach and the lead and the top player, and then they would go talk to Magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like he was already doing probably what he was doing already. Like, was he actually running the team, or was he just a figurehead? That
He might have been doing it for free, right?
We're in good hands.
Call Magic without the title.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Magic, he's going to do whatever he can to make sure the Lakers are good.
Absolutely.
Now, whether he got it accomplished or not, his in his heart, he has the best intentions for the LA Lakers.
Yeah, and the Buss family, no
And
doubt.
the Buss family, exactly. So
it may be removing himself from that situation or free up some, to make some, choices and decisions, and go there. And sometimes being being Magic Johnson, making those hard decisions and blowing people out and firing people may not be all in. Magic was always an uplifting type of player. You know what I mean? Like, he was always like happy, smile, let's go, we can get this done. He wasn't, like Jordan, knocking people out in practice. You know what I mean? Like
he probably couldn't understand that, the season just ended. What you mean I can't go away for 30 days?
Yeah.
Right.
You got the draft.
Hey man, listen.
Summer League coming up. Man. You can't.
Did you see the Forbes list? I'm worth $600 million. I can't do 30 days somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I got a cell phone. Like we can FaceTime.
Call me. I can call people.
Yeah, definitely.
Even on a yacht.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to take another look at the brackets and get your guys' opinion here on the first round. Who do you guys think is going to move on from this first round of the NBA playoffs in this bracket here?
Well, I mean, the only one that's up in the air for me in the East is the Sixers.
Okay.
I think the top seeds advance in the East.
Yeah.
In the West, I also think, I believe the Thunder may get the Blazers.
Okay.
I believe the Thunder may get the Blazers. The Blazers lost their big guy to the broken leg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the Thunder, may get the Blazers. And I like the Blazers. They've been in the top 3 or 4 the last few years.
Right.
They just haven't been able to, take that next step. So to see, their guy get hurt, it was kind of unfortunate. They were playing well, but I think without him, I think the Thunder will advance there. So I like all the top seeds in the West and the Thunder, and I like all the top seeds in the East and man,
the Sixers got you nervous, Doug.
They got me really nervous.
Well, you hear
Doug,
MB?
they say if you're
When
scared,
hear
get a
MB,
dog.
yeah.
They say, Doug, if you're scared, get a dog, man.
When you look at the Nets, and I've been, of course, Rondé
Jefferson,
for the Nets,
yeah.
so I watch the Nets a little, and I follow them a bit. And without Joel Embiid,
they should come to the lane and score at will.
I'm
the
just
way
saying,
we do pick and roll.
Without Embiid, up and down the roster,
Yeah.
the Nets seem to have more talent.
Okay.
With the guy Karis LeVert and these guys
Yeah.
coming off the bench and
Yeah.
DeMar Carroll, and they seem to me to have more talent than the Sixers.
Could it be 1984 all over again?
Without Embiid, that's without Embiid
without
now.
Embiid.
That's
Oh,
without
yeah,
Embiid.
it changes-
I'm not now.
it
If Embiid is playing, then I'm taking the Sixers every day and twice on Sunday. But without Joel Embiid in the lineup, I'm not too sure.
And you're supposed to feel like that. I'm looking at this Western Conference. We giving it to the Warriors.
Your first game, yeah.
Houston better be careful because
the
Jazz are not scared. They're not scared.
Yeah.
Like they're one of those. They're gonna play ball, and if you beat them, you beat them. But they're not backing down. They're not scared of anybody. The Thunder, I got them over the Blazers. The Blazers are, they are one of those teams that they're gonna make it. They're gonna have numbers, but did
is CJ back?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
CJ's back, but they're just missing some things.
Yeah, that'll make it interesting, but
they're not a playoff caliber, deep playoff caliber
Right.
thing. Like I think Paul George and Westbrook is enough to get them through there, and I think the Nuggets have a little bit too much talent for the Spurs.
Agreed.
Like it's going to be competitive,
Yeah.
because they have ball players. I mean, Aldridge and these guys can play. Rudy Gay, they can play basketball, but I think the Nuggets have a little bit more talent than them, so they'll get through. On the Eastern Conference side, I got the Bucks. The Celtics. I mean, it's just it's up to them. It's not about the opponent. Like, let's be real. They got all the talent to do what they need to do. And for the Sixers, look, if Embiid's not playing, it changes the whole landscape of the whole playoffs in the Eastern Conference final. I mean, on the East. And the Raptors are solid. I mean, they got defense. They got Kawhi. You're not going to come in there, I don't care who you are, and just decide your guard, whether that's Harden or any of these guys who are prolific scorers. When they play against Kawhi, it's different. Yep. Like, you're going to earn these type of points. You're not doing 35 against him. That 35 is going to be 25. That 27 is going to be 20 or 17 playing against them. So, we looking good. Right? Let's tip it off. Throw the ball, ref.
Let's
get
it.
Definitely.
And I'm along those lines. I think it's going to be interesting and definitely see. I think the story of the playoffs is Embiid's health. I mean, that's for the whole, playoffs altogether. I mean,
I don't like the fact that we got to discuss his health before the throw up in the first playoff game.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the one that scares me more than anything.
Yeah, I mean that's like this, that's in the health, and that's the key. I mean, and injuries have been a part of his story. I mean, if you look back from when he was drafted and in the Sixers and resting him in time, his load balance, all that stuff, that's been key. I mean, and we're gonna find out because you can't help the club from the tub. The station. That's what the man said. That's what you definitely cannot do. You cannot, help the club from the tub. And if you do that, we got to find out what's going to happen. I mean, and if Jimmy Butler will have to step up, and Ben needs to step up, like we've been always asking Ben.
Because Ben was the number three for Ben year.
Yeah, 2 on the court, 3 playing. This is it.
So we gotta watch him. We got him under the microscope.
Yeah. I want to see.
The Nets said they're gonna leave him wide open. Somebody wanted to play.
Who hasn't left him wide open? That's what I want to know. He got to knock one of them. I don't want to see him. I want to see him shoot one. That's what I want to see.
That's the. We talked about Virginia earlier. For me. That's the disappointing thing for me is that you would think when teams are playing that far off of you and you're a pro basketball player and they're just totally disrespecting you, that would eat at you in the off season and you would do nothing but make them. I'm gonna come back and make them. I wish they would back up off of me so I could do what I do, but it just seems that he's content with what it is that he can do, and that's what he's got to
get uncomfortable to get better. To get better, you got to get uncomfortable. Definitely. But tip-off time, playoffs starting 2:30. Sports Talk live for the culture. Thanks for this session. We lead you right up to tip-off. The Nets at the 76ers, 10-9, 76ers. Let's go. Let's see if they can do it. Enjoy the NBA. We'll be back next week talking about that. Talk a little bit about the NFL draft coming up, too.
It's coming.
It's coming. Like, who's going to make moves? And
Zion's going to be #1 pick in the NFL draft.
Defensive tight end.
Yeah, tight end.
By the New England Patriots.
Watch it.
Definitely. Peace, and we're out.
Peace.
Talk
Sports
to you next week.
Talk for the culture.
Follow and like the page.